is the moment we've all been waiting for. It's time! Presenting the champion of the world, WamBam Ben Amino!
Yo, it's your boy WamBam, and it's another WamBam Wednesday. It's the show about ordinary people who've done extraordinary things, and I'm in Las Vegas, baby. That's right, it's Sin City, the city that never sleeps. And we're here today with somebody special. You people were DMing me saying, when are you going to have another female on the show? Well, guess what? Today's the day, and it's going to be special. But before I introduce her, as always, I'm going to ask you, please, subscribe to our YouTube channel. The show is free. That's how we get our little love back from you. Subscribe, make sure you like it, make sure you share it. Very, very important. Because today, you are going to be able to meet a female who was a cheerleader, not just an ordinary cheerleader, an extraordinary cheerleader. She actually cheerleaded for the Atlanta Hawks. That's right. She's from Georgia, but she's here in Las Vegas today. And you know what? She cheerleaded for the Hawks, and she's also a professional bodybuilder. And we're going to talk to her. Her name, Brittany Zimmerman, is in the house today. And you know what? I'm going to introduce her to you right now. Brittany, thanks so much for being here today. So happy that you were able to make it.
Of course. Thank you for having me. I'm
Absolutely.
excited to be here.
Yeah. It's really cool. A Georgia girl here in Las Vegas, the city that never sleeps.
Right.
How exciting.
Yeah, very
How long
exciting.
have you been in Vegas right now?
It'll be 2 years in February.
2 years.
So not very long, but
Yeah.
I can't be in one place for too long. But this is my new home now. I'm not leaving anymore.
This
No
is
more
your new
moving.
home? Well, they always said hot Atlanta, right? Georgia's hot. Freaking Vegas is hot.
No, this is hot.
This is hot. This is a different type of hot.
Georgia is humid. This is an oven, quite literally.
Quite.
So, still not used to it.
Well, you know what? I want to take you all the way back to your Georgia days. Let's go rewind a little bit. I want to tell the viewers a little bit about yourself and how you actually became an Atlanta Hawks cheerleader.
Yeah, it's a long and funny story, and it wasn't really meant to be, but it was.
Yeah.
And it ended up being a huge part of my life.
Let me guess. Did you do some sort of gymnastics growing up?
I was.
Okay.
Yep.
So gymnastics was a thing. You used to do all them backflips and stuff like that, or
Oh,
what?
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, now that I think about it, I was like, dang, I was actually pretty good.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, there's no way I could do any of that. But
Now, did you want to be a gymnast back then? Or, I mean,
yeah.
obviously you were doing it, but did you want to, maybe do Olympics and,
Of course, that's every
kid's dream?
kid's dream, is to be Olympics, which I'm a realist, and I have been since I was a child, and I knew I wasn't going to go to the Olympics. I was like, let's be real. I'm not going to the Olympics ever, but I was hoping maybe college at least. But to be real, I just wasn't good enough. I was already too old for the level I was at, so it wasn't going to happen. But I remember the exact moment when I knew I wanted to be a gymnast. I was in my mom's room. I have a twin sister, so me and her both were watching the Olympics. We had to have been 5. And I looked at my mom. I was like, I want to do that. I want to be a gymnast. So she signed us up, both of us up. My sister quit literally after 2 weeks. She was too scared. And I just kept going and going for about 10 or 12 years.
Yeah. So now, how did you become a Hawks cheerleader? I mean, first of all, I want to tell you, you look yoked, man. For a bodybuilder, you could tell you working out and stuff.
God, I hope so. Thanks.
We're going to talk about that in a minute. But how did you become a Hawks cheerleader? How did that all happen? Well, it was a cheerleader dancer, really, right?
Back then, it was actually both. There was a cheer section of the team and a dance section of the team. So, of course, I was a gymnast for 10 or 12 years, and then I fractured my back, so I had to quit. But I couldn't just sit there and not do anything. So Then I went to all-star cheerleading, which wasn't much better. But I did that for 3 years, and I luckily just kind of had some sort of rhythm.
Yeah.
I could dance a little bit, but not professionally, really.
Mm-hmm.
And I was actually working at Hooters at the time. I was there for years on and off.
Which Hooters?
I was at the corporate location in Cobb.
Cobb County, yeah.
And then the one in Roswell.
Okay.
So I went back and forth and all that, and one of my friends there wanted to go to the auditions for the Hawks. And I was like, cool, I'll go with, just to have fun and, as a joke.
So that's what it was?
Yeah.
It was kind of like a dare type of thing?
Yeah. It was not serious at all. I was like, sure, let's go, make fools of ourselves. And then I made it all the way to the finals, right before they announced the team, and then I didn't make the team, and I was actually kind of hurt by it, even though it was a joke.
Oh, so wait a second. So listen, so you're working at Hooters, and some of your colleagues, some partners are like, hey, we're going to go try out for the Hawks. You should come too.
Yep.
And you're like, okay, I'll do it.
Yeah.
And then you went there, and you literally made it to the finals?
Yeah.
But then you got caught. You didn't make the team.
I didn't make the team.
So then it got personal.
It did. I was like, wait a second. I don't like that. I was like, no, I have to make the team. So I took the whole next year and actually really worked. Like, went to dance classes, started stretching. Like,
did you really?
Yes, I was.
So
like,
you invested in this. You're like, oh, I'm going to do this. I'm going to get on this team.
That's one thing about me is that I'm determined. And I get quite obsessive with things. So I was very obsessed with it. And I was watching all these YouTube videos and like preparing myself for auditions. I changed my hair and everything to like look the part.
Really?
And so I came back the next year.
You know, let's talk about it really quick. You know, you mentioned look the part. So, you know, is that a big issue with women today, like having to look a certain way? Do you feel like there's a lot of, I mean, obviously being a Hooters girl too is the same thing. I mean, my actual wife back in the day was a Hooters girl too,
really?
actually at Cobb. Yeah. I used to call her Sticks. She used to play the pots and pans, I guess, in the back. So I'm very familiar. But I mean, is there a lot of pressure on women today having to look a certain way and make sure to?
Well, I think now today it's a little better. Like people are just more open to different things now. But back then it was tough. You had to be like skinny but not muscular, but not like soft either. And you had to have like the long blonde hair or the long brown hair and just look like the girl next door. Like no tattoos. I remember I had to cover up my tattoos with makeup for Hooters.
Really?
Working at Hooters, yeah. Had to cover it up with makeup. And also for Hawks I did, and I was working part-time at a hair salon, so they had my hair like a red color, and Hooters did not like it.
What's your natural color?
About close to this,
Oh, okay.
like a dirty blonde.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
I mean, you're a beautiful woman, obviously.
thanks.
But, you know, what's your favorite color hair? Like, there's got to be photos of yourself that you're like, I like being this.
Yeah, I had a really vibrant purple hair at one
Purple?
point. Yeah, and I loved it.
Wow, my daughter's favorite color is purple, Kylie's.
I loved it. It was hard to maintain, and
Yeah.
it killed my hair, but
Yeah.
I loved it. It was cool.
That's cool. That's
Yeah.
cool. So you decide now all of a sudden I'm all in. I want to be a Hawks. There's no way. I got so close, and I'm gonna study YouTube, and that's great too. Like you have so much, you know, availability to actually go on to YouTube to check out. Social media has so many different avenues to find the information that you need.
Right, so you don't go in blind. There's always like a little bit of information. My older sister is a dancer too. She has been her whole life, so I got some like helpful tips from her. So I went back to auditions the next year, and they remembered me.
So let me ask you real quick. They have auditions every year. So them girls that are on it this year, they have to re-audition every year.
If you're already on the team from the previous year, you don't have to go through the first round, but like the second half of the week is when you join auditions.
Gotcha.
And then compete against like the rookies, I guess.
So there's no guarantee whatsoever year to year.
Even if you're a vet, you can be kicked off at any time. So
is that because if you ate too much, you're a little bit shaped differently? They're looking at you different all of a sudden.
I mean, I'm sure if you gained a ton of weight between those two times, yeah. But also they like purposely match you up with somebody who looks just like you during the final audition. So at the time I had red hair, so I was paired up with the only other redhead.
Oh, wow.
So they choose like between the two, like which redhead they want on the team or which tall brunette they want on the team. So they just take people that look alike and put them up against each other.
Wow, that's hard, man.
Yeah.
That's got to be really, really frustrating, wondering, where do I stand?
It was. And of course, the only other redhead besides me was a girl that's been on the team for like 3 years already. I was like, great. They put me up against like the captain of the team.
Wow.
So.
But this is the first year or second year you tried out?
That was the second year I tried out when I was
so that's
paired
when you
up
made
against her. The first year that I made it, I don't remember who I was partnered up against, but all I remember is just sitting in front of my computer with my family because they announced it like online a couple days later on a slideshow, and I was like, everybody stop talking, like we're watching the slideshow, and my name popped up and I just burst into tears. I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I made it because I'm not a dancer. But I did, like I said, there was 2 sections of it. You could try out for the cheer side or the dance side, which the dance side was, like classically trained dancers, like double turns and all these leaps and crazy stuff that I don't know how to do. Or the cheer side, which was more like a sideline dance. Like it was still dancing, just not as difficult. So I did the cheer side.
Gotcha.
And made it.
So you made it. So that was exciting for you.
Yeah.
What was it like when you first put on that uniform?
Oh my
You
gosh, it
know?
was crazy. They gave us so
Now, do you have
many
your own
uniforms.
locker room, sir? I always wondered. Cheerleaders got their own locker room?
We have a locker room for the cheerleaders. It's directly across the hall from the basketball players, but we don't get to keep our stuff there. But we had like our own lockers that we would use each and every game day. Like we wouldn't switch. It was just staying there. So we had to take our stuff every time. But
So you walk in the locker room and you see your uniform, and you get to put it on for the first time.
oh yeah,
How was that feeling? What was that like?
it was amazing. It was so nerve-wracking. And I remember my mom came to that first game because we got free tickets for certain games.
Uh-huh.
And we were getting ready to go out for our first sideline of like the first quarter. And I was just shaking in my boots. I was so nervous. I was like, oh my gosh, what if I forget like what I'm doing? Because all it is you look at a sheet and it tells you exactly what dances you're doing for the entire game. So you just have to remember everything in your head.
Right.
So I was freaking out that I would like mess up the sideline or think it was, because we had like 20 different sideline dances and you just have to look at the name of it and know which one it is. And then you don't know what song's going to be playing, so you just have to pair it to the song.
You just got to figure it out.
Yeah,
On the
you
spot.
just have to go. Yeah.
Gotcha.
And keep in line with everybody.
Right.
So
You ever get yelled at? Do you ever make a mistake and coach yells at you for not doing a good job? I mean, everybody's always smiling on the sideline. All the
Yeah.
girls are always smiling and got their little pom-poms and but does anybody ever get in trouble because they didn't do a good job?
oh yeah,
Oh, yeah?
there's times like people, I mean, I've done it maybe once or twice in my entire 3 years of being on the team where I actually like forgot the dance, and you just kind of like pause and everybody's going, but you just have to catch back on. And of course you get, yelled at for that, but I'm a perfectionist and I made sure I never ever messed up a dance.
Right.
So there was only 1 or 2 times in the entire 3 years that I ever messed up a dance.
It amazes me too is how quickly they learn. Like you guys learn a dance. My daughter actually had Kylie actually did a halftime show there, which was kind of cool. She did during the, it was during the Christmas spirit.
Yeah.
Christmas time.
Oh,
She
yeah.
actually did
Yeah,
a
yeah.
dancer there, and they choreographed a dance within an hour. And it's like, okay, this is what we're doing at halftime, and Kylie had to learn it and go with it, and the girls all had it, and I was like, wow, it's pretty amazing and pretty intense. But
Yeah.
so there is a lot of skill there that goes with that.
Yeah, it was tough. And actually, towards, I want to say the middle of my first year, or maybe it was my second year already, is when they started moving me over to the dance side, so the more difficult side. So the dance side, they do the actual halftime dances. Like it's a full 2-minute dance.
Right.
And they do the sideline dances each quarter. So they started moving me over to that side while I was still on the cheer side. So I was doing the cheer side and the dance side, and I was the only girl on the team doing that. So it was really hard. So I was going to the cheer practices and the dance practices. So it was extra practices, and I was learning 2 or 3 dances.
What are those like? How long? Like, what time did they have these? Because everybody had regular jobs, right? I mean, this is not a full-time thing.
No.
You guys don't travel, so you don't go to away games. So you're just doing all the home games?
Just the home games, but it was required to either be full-time working or full-time student if you're going to be on the team. So we had to have jobs or be in school. So
when were you practicing? Evening times?
evening times, maybe around 6. But I would always get there an hour early so I could practice these 3 million dances we just learned, because I'm the only one that has to do both. So I had to make sure I got it right, and I made sure I never ever messed up on a dance, and I always was one of the first people to memorize the dance. I knew that. So, but I would go straight to work it was at the CNN Center in Atlanta. That's where our practices were. So they'd be about 3 hours long maybe. Yeah.
So what is it like, obviously traveling in and out, going to places? I mean, being in Atlanta, you're recognized. So people see a bunch of beautiful girls, the Hawks cheerleaders, Was it kind of cool, people asking for autographs and pictures, or did it get to be kind of a pain?
We had to be very, kind of secretive, I guess, about it. So we couldn't post it on our own social medias about it. We had to have a separate Instagram account just for Hawks, and we could only post Hawks stuff on there. And we couldn't wear, of course, uniforms or sweatsuits out anywhere. We had to wear, if we bought a jersey or something, we could wear that, but nothing uniform related. We couldn't talk to any of the players. We couldn't even look at them. So if they walked by the hall, we had to stop walking and let them walk first, because we couldn't, do
Can't make eye contact with the players?
Yeah,
You were
no.
back there with Al
Nothing.
Horford and those guys?
Yeah,
back in the
Jeff
day?
Teague, all of them.
Oh, so they walk by, and if they look at you and hey, how are you, good morning, or good evening.
We
or
can't
good-
respond.
You can't respond?
No.
Nothing
We
at
weren't
all.
supposed to.
That's rude.
Yeah.
That's
I know. I felt
messed
bad.
up.
I was just, having to walk in the hallway like this, or if we knew that they were coming out of their locker room,
Yeah.
for the introductions and national anthem, we had to walk the entire opposite way around.
That's so bizarre to me.
Yeah, we just had to ignore each other, which is fine, I guess. But yeah, we had a good team because that first year I was on the team is when we went to playoffs, Eastern Conference Finals. So that was a great first year.
Yeah, that must have been fun.
Getting to go to playoffs and win in Eastern Conference Finals.
Right.
That was awesome.
That's cool. That's very cool to be able to do. Now, obviously you invested in yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You said, you took a lot of training courses. You were going on YouTube and stuff. But did you put any financial money into investing, like classes and stuff, before you did that second tryout to make the team? Like, do you actually literally spend money on yourself to learn?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would go take dance classes, like technique classes, because that's where I struggled, because I wasn't a dancer. But I somehow managed to get onto the more difficult end of the team. So I had to really train to be caught up technically with the other dancers.
You see, I love that. And this is to the viewers. You have to invest in yourself. If you want something, it's out there. It's available for you. You have to invest in yourself to be able to do it. You actually, did that, and that's what's important. People don't realize. I mean, let's be honest. How much money did you really make? What did they pay you? What did they pay the Hawks? You made thousands of dollars. Did you get $100,000 to be a dancer?
No, absolutely not.
No, not even close.
No.
I heard a little rumor. It's very, very light. $300-$400 a game. What was it? Just curious.
This was back then, so like 2015. But minimum wage in Georgia is $7.25, if it still is. So we were getting $11.25 per hour. So
you paid? They paid you hourly. Mm-hmm. So you got $11.25 an hour.
Yes.
No matter what.
No matter what.
Just to be a hawk. Wow.
Yeah, and it was actually more of a full-time job. If we're doing 2 or 3 practices a week, plus 1 game a week, plus all these appearances, mandatory appearances we had to do, which were like, charity events or just show up.
So tell me about the appearances. What is that like? They just paid you hourly for being there? Mm-hmm. So you had to like sign autographs or take pictures and do those types of
corporate
stuff?
Yeah, take pictures, just engage with guests. It would be at like little festivals or charity events. We had to do a mandatory 10 for that minimum wage, and then after that you got like 50 an hour for anything past the 10. But people rarely got past the 10 unless you were like a captain or a 6-year vet. Because
so
it was kind of...
They kind of designed it so you wouldn't get there?
Yeah.
So
I don't think I ever in my 3 years got a $50 an hour appearance. They were like, no, you've done your 10. You're good. Like, okay.
Cutting you off at 10. You got there. Wow, that stinks.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So how long were you Hawks cheerleader then?
I was on there for 3 years. And I mean, it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of hard work. It's where I met a lot of my best friends. Like, I'm still friends with them to this day. They're invited to my future wedding, so they'll be there. But my 3rd year, I really struggled. Like, I wasn't as happy as I used to be. It was just hard. Like, they would control the way you look. So they had a hair salon that we had to go see, and whatever they wanted to do to our hair and our look, we had to do it. I mean, you could have said no, but it would have looked really bad.
So you know what? It's kind of funny because this is something that I think a lot of viewers don't realize, because I went through this in the music business with Kylie as well. And actually her first song, Mannequin, was about that, how people wanted to make you look and feel a certain way. And everybody, producer, whatever it was, you had to do it their way.
Yeah.
And they did. They tried. So it's kind of very, ironic that you're saying this, that, you didn't have a choice in your hair color. You didn't have a choice of how you wore your hair, whether it was pigtails or braids. They just did whatever, and you had to go with it.
Right, which luckily I don't care about changing my hair. I'm always down to change it. So they cut it in a really short pixie. Well, actually, my first year, it was like an orange color, and it was like a bob. And then you can see here, they chopped it. It's a really short pixie.
Oh, that's you right there.
Yeah, really short pixie color.
Panda, we gotta zoom in on that one there right there. Wow, I wouldn't even recognize that you.
Yeah. And that takes forever to grow out. So I was stuck with that forever. But I also had to cover my tattoos, like I said, with makeup and care about the way my body looked and,
So what's your most, let's talk about food and nutrition. Back then, obviously, you're a dancer. Did they make you, give you any nutritional information or any education, I should say? Did they try to help their cheerleaders to look or feel a certain way, and maybe give you some perks as far as foods, where you could go eat? And did they ever copy any food, stuff like that?
It was kind of strange because we had an ex-Hawks cheerleader. She was like our nutrition coach, and like she did like workout classes and stuff for us. So at the beginning of practice, we would do like a little workout class, and she offered other workout classes that we would go take. And I remember one year we had to, like, for a week, write down what we ate so that she could get a better idea, and we'd meet with a nutritionist and kind of go through it. And then we had to do a body fat test a couple times where we literally were dunked head and everything into a tank.
Water tank, yeah.
Which I don't like that. It was terrifying. And they would just tell us like what our body fat percentage is and what we could work on. But then on game day, we would get complimentary Chick-fil-A is what we would eat. And they would only comp like the nuggets and like a wrap. So it was contradicting. So I just remember quite literally just not eating all day on game day because I was scared of not looking
That's funny.
great.
That's crazy. So you know what? Let's realistically, looking back, what is the most memorable moment that you had, good and bad? I'm going to ask for both, while being a cheerleader with the Hawks.
There was a lot of good. My first year, they flew us out to Bahamas because we shot for a calendar shoot.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, so that
That's
was
a heck
awesome.
Of a perk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the only year they did it because after that they took it away. But that was awesome. And also my second and my third year, we do like superlatives or awards at the end of each season.
Uh-huh.
And I won most improved teammate both years in a row.
Oh yeah.
So that
there
was
you go.
That was nice.
It kind of goes with your determination of wanting to be the best.
Yeah, it was worth it because I worked so hard to get to the harder side of the team, and I actually was in every single dance they offered that year. Like I never got kicked out of one or didn't make it because you have to audition to be in it, and I made every single one.
That's good.
So that was nice and your teammates vote on that. So it was nice that my teammates thought that.
Right. That's cool. So Bahamas out there. What about the worst experience that you had?
Oh gosh.
Did you ever get like stuck in traffic in Atlanta, didn't make the team on time?
Well, of course. Yeah, I got stuck in traffic all the time in Atlanta.
Did you ever miss a game or show up late to one?
No, I never missed a game. I've showed up late maybe once or twice to a practice. I'm trying to think of what the worst one would be. I just remember feeling like I wasn't a favorite on the team, and I was kind of being not treated different, but just not given the same opportunities.
Gotcha.
Actually, I know the worst time. It was at the end of my third season. I was pretty much on the dance side, instead of the cheer side that I made the team, I completely transitioned over to the dance side, which is where I wanted to be because they got to do everything. They were like the ones you wanted to be. They were doing the halftime shows, doing all the dancing, all that stuff, all the hard stuff. And so I was completely transitioned onto that side. And for my fourth year, my coach told me, you should audition for the dance side. I was like, oh my gosh, finally, like I get to be on the dance side.
Do what you want.
Yeah, I don't have to, work so hard to get where I'm already at or prove myself anymore. So I went and I auditioned for that dance side. It was the hardest audition I've ever done because we learned the dance in literally an hour and then the next morning had to perform it full out.
That's how it was, yeah.
And nobody can remember a dance that quick because they just teach it like that. And then they're like, okay, see you in the morning. And you're like, okay. And it's a week-long process, the auditions. And so I went and performed it, and I nailed the dance. Like, I did not miss a single move. And I, like, all the moves that I was nervous about because they were really hard, I landed and all that. And then it was time for the team to be announced. And the slideshow was playing. They were announcing somebody every 3 hours. And my coach calls me, and I pick it up. And she was like, hey, I know you're watching the slideshow, but I just want to let you know now that you're not going to see your name. And I was like, excuse me? I was like, you just told me to audition for the dance side, and I did, and I nailed it. And now you're telling me I'm not going to see my name. And she was like, yeah, the truth is, like, you just need more experience. And, like, dancers were just better than you this year. I was like, okay. And so that was hung up, and that was it.
That was a gut blow, gut punch right there.
Oh, my gosh. I've never cried so hard in my life. And all my best friends made the team.
Really?
So I was, like, one of the only ones that didn't make the team back.
So how does that affect you now? Like, do you feel like you look back at that and say, man, I just wasn't good enough? Or do you feel like, maybe I got a bad rap about it all? Or does it actually drive you? Because adversity happens in everybody in life. Mm-hmm. And I always tell people, adversity can either drive you or it can drown you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And, what did it do to you? How did it affect you?
Oh, it definitely drowned me for a while.
Did it drown you
I was
for a
salty
while?
for a long time.
Oh, I'm sorry to
because
hear that.
it hurt me so bad because I worked so hard to get to where I was. And then she finally was, like, giving me the okay. And I was like, oh, I made it,
Right.
And then I didn't make it. I was like, that is because I dedicated my entire life to that team, so I didn't know who I was without it. It was a big identity crisis.
Really?
I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do now. I have nothing.
So cheerleading becomes, it's over.
Yeah.
Now it's coming to an end.
Mm-hmm.
So heartache, boom, adversity, you're upset, and what are you gonna do? Is that how you end up in Vegas? Like,
it was leading to it. I honestly thought about auditioning for like the Falcons or NBA again.
did you ever do any of that?
I didn't.
No.
Or
other teams.
I just took the hint.
Yeah.
Like my time is up. I had a good 3 years, and to be honest, I wasn't totally happy towards the end anyways.
Okay.
So it was kind of a blessing in disguise. So I just kind of
let's be real. Making $11 an hour is not, really.
Right.
That's not going to be, retirement money for you either. Type
No.
of thing.
And I was watching the auditions as the years went on, and it was getting so much harder. Like, there's no way I could have done it.
Now, let me ask you a real question. While you were on the team, any of them girls have children, or any married, or any, families like that when they're there? Or they're pretty much single girls that are, out there?
There was a couple that were married or planning weddings. I don't think any had children yet.
Okay. I didn't know how that would affect somebody, just being the fact that it takes a toll on your body, too, to have a baby and a child.
I know a lot of Falcons cheerleaders had kids.
Yeah.
But on Hawks, at least during my time, I don't know if anybody did. I don't think so.
What happens if you're, like, in the middle of the season and you get pregnant?
Oh, that did happen, actually. Now that I think about it. One girl did get pregnant mid-season, and we
Did
were all...
they cut them off? Did they, you're no longer in the team now? Because you got a little bump out? Or
yeah,
what?
she left kind of, mid-season just because she wanted to protect the baby and not be so rigorous,
Gotcha.
activity.
So it's her choice?
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
She's looking out for her kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, kudos to her.
So you need the time. It was very full-time, so.
Right. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting thing, though. I wonder how that, goes.
I couldn't do it.
You sit there, all of a sudden you find out you're pregnant. You're like, hey, I got to make some changes here.
Right.
People get sick. They get morning sick, all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
Girls go through that stuff.
Yeah.
It's a big toll on the body. So it's
And the uniforms are this big, so.
I didn't know if they make you sign waivers like, hey, I will not get pregnant during the.
No,
this
at least
time
I
while
didn't sign that, so I don't remember signing that.
That's good. So you know what? Don't hate to bring you back to the bad time, but you're sad, you're upset, how you're looking for an identity.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, you become this professional bodybuilder. You got to tell me about this. I got to know about this transition.
Well, it definitely didn't happen overnight.
Okay. Well, of course not. It's a lot of hard work.
Yeah, but like I said, I'm obsessive. So when one thing ended, I had to obsess over something new. And
I like the fact that you know who you are. You're like, I'm obsessed. It's what I am.
I mean, let's be
some
honest.
people they feel bad. They use that as a bad term. They think obsessive is bad. No, obsessive is good.
Yeah.
I'm obsessive too. Like I love money, right? I'm obsessive about it. Type of thing. I love good things. Why not be obsessive about it? If you're not obsessed about the things you love, you're never going to probably achieve them anyways.
Right. I mean,
So,
you can call it addictive personality, but obsessive sounds better to me.
I like it. I'm with you.
Yeah. So, of course, I had to obsess over something else. And it again came from Hooters. Hooters is like the source of everything I've done. Because I was doing... Hooters has swimsuit pageants. And I was doing them for my stores.
Oh, yeah. Were you winning?
I won.
Yeah.
And so they sent me to Vegas. And that was the first time I've ever been to Vegas to represent the state of Georgia because I won Miss Georgia. So I came to Vegas to compete in the international pageant as Miss Georgia. And when that was over, I shot for the calendar a couple times and I dieted myself. And I was like...
Hold on, I gotta ask you, what is that like shooting for a calendar and you're on the calendar, swimsuit edition of the Hooters calendar? What month were you?
I was in November my first year. And then I was on like the centerfold poster.
So that's a great month, Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Everybody's thankful to see you, right?
Yeah. I don't remember what other month I was on the year after. But
what's up, guys? Monster Michael Todd here, and I'm with Cost Plus Processing, the leader in merchant processing. If you're a business owner and you're still paying processing fees, you have to contact Cost Plus Processing. 1-855-391-9190. That's 1-855-391-9190. Be sure to tell them Monster sent you and get a free gift.
But was that kind of weird? Like at that point in time, a lot of people. Like you're around your family, your friends. You got any siblings and all?
Any siblings?
Yeah. Do you have any siblings? How many siblings?
I have 3 sisters and a brother.
Younger, older?
Twin sister, an older sister, an older brother, and then an older half sister.
Gotcha. What is it like though? The family sees that's my sister on the Hooter calendar.
I thought I think they thought it was so cool.
Yeah, that is kind of cool. It would be kind of cool.
They all bought a calendar. So.
They all bought one? Even better.
Yeah.
Did you give a free autograph or charge them?
No, it was free that one time.
There you go.
I mean, it was awesome because when you work at Hooters, that's like everybody's goal is to be in the Hooters calendar. And they even made like collector's cups, and I was on the collector cup for Georgia. Oh, yeah? Which my mom still has it.
Man, you should have been getting paid then. Look at what they're doing to these kids today in college now with the NIL money and stuff. Mm-hmm. Now that they actually can finally get paid for utilizing their brand or their name or their face. Think about all your faces. You were on the calendars. You're on cups. I bet you didn't get any rights to that, did you?
Where's my compensation?
That's right. You need to be compensated. I agree.
I need a royalty for everything sold.
We need to get a new manager. If you're a manager, we need to get this girl a new manager.
Right.
You know, get her paid.
Right. Well, I mean, guess too late for that now, but I was all about the experience, so that was fun. Like I said, I dieted and trained myself for it, and I was like, that was kind of fun, like doing the whole transformation.
How do you diet? What are you, like 100 pounds, 80 pounds?
At the time, yeah.
You know,
I was like 95, 100 pounds. I didn't know what I was doing.
You still felt like you had to lose weight?
Yeah.
Okay. So what does the diet consist of in your world?
Back then?
Yeah.
When I had no idea what I was doing. Yeah. Oh, gosh. It was like maybe an hour of cardio a day, and I was lifting weights, but I wasn't eating like really anything. Because I didn't know what I was doing. I thought that's what you had to do. And I felt miserable. I was miserable.
Did you like working out or no?
Yeah.
You did? So you enjoyed working out?
Yeah, I enjoyed working out, but I just felt miserable towards, the end of the whole diet phase.
Well, listen, you're working at Hooters. You're not eating any of the wings? Like, you not smell that every day? The French fries? The curly fries?
Discipline.
No? Discipline.
Actually, it was one time I went on the menu online to see just how many calories were in like their fries, because I used to eat their fries all the time, and it was so traumatizing and scary that I've never touched a Hooters fry since. And I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that. That's crazy. That kind of kicked it into high gear for me.
Yeah, well, that's cool. So you obviously learned a little bit though along the ways of how to diet, how to work out, how to be disciplined.
Yeah.
And you're a Hooters girl. You're here in Vegas. You win the show. You're out here in Miss Georgia with that.
Yep.
And then what?
And then, so I had a few friends in Georgia who were doing bodybuilding shows and competing at the NPC level, which is the amateur level. And so I messaged a couple of them and reached out and was like, hey, do you know like good coaches? I kind of want to try this now and take it to the next level and see how good I could do.
You know what? I love that about you. You're asking for advice. Give me some good coaches.
Yeah,
I want the best coach.
I mean,
I want to know. So at that point, you knew you wanted to do bodybuilding.
I wanted to try it at least, but I've heard horror stories of getting the wrong coach, which is exactly what happened to me. So somebody recommended a certain coach to me, and so I signed up with him, and it was a 6-week prep for this show.
All right, so let's talk about that for a second. What goes in a coach? I mean, you actually look for a coach for bodybuilding? Mm-hmm. So what do they coach you over? Like, we're not talking about like a trainer, right? We're not talking about
it's essentially a trainer. Yeah.
So trainer, dietitian, does all that stuff for you.
Yeah, they write the workout plan for you, the nutrition plan for you.
Gotcha.
They, coach you on your posing routine and just take you through the entire thing.
Okay.
So I signed up with one person who I was recommended to.
Was that expensive?
Yeah. Yeah, coaches in general are expensive, so it's worth it if you find a good coach. But this
so that's another thing you invested into yourself.
Yeah.
Again. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
But
I see a pattern. That's
I mean, I knew I didn't know what I was doing. I had to hire somebody, but he charged me way too much for a 6-week prep, and didn't even show up to half the training sessions. Gave me a really cookie cutter meal plan that was not customized to me at all, and it was miserable. And told me
when you say it's miserable, what was the one thing on there you hated eating that they wanted you to eat?
Tilapia and asparagus. That was the same meal.
Tilapia and asparagus.
For four meals a day. Yeah. Tilapia, asparagus.
Tilapia's like bottom feeder. And they say that
literally
now,
they are.
Now.
Yeah.
It's like it eats all the garbage on the bottom of the ocean.
It was me. I turned into a bottom feeder. I had it so many times. Oh my gosh, it was terrible. And it was my first show. He charged me way too much. Didn't even show up half the time. Told me I should buy his ticket for the show. So, like, of course, you're my coach. I'm going to buy you my ticket or your ticket into the show to watch me compete. And he never showed up. I was like, cool.
Your coach didn't even show up for the show.
No, and I spent so much money on him for this whole training thing and everything. And he, like, totally ghosted me day of. So I didn't even know what I was supposed to do. So, of course, I watch a ton of YouTube videos of other people preparing for a show. And I thought whatever they're doing is what I need to be doing. So I did the whole no gum, like drinking wine to dry out, taking a shot the night before to dry out, like doing all this stupid stuff that I shouldn't have been doing.
Hold on, let's talk about that. So tell me what works and what doesn't work. So what'd you learn? 'Cause what do you mean about taking a shot before? Explain that.
It's all custom to certain people. So Franklin, for his show where he turned pro, he had to take a shot of vodka the night before to dry out.
Your boyfriend that's also in bodybuilding. Mm-hmm. Okay, cool.
The night before he turned pro.
So before he turned pro, a shot of vodka. What does it do? Does it help?
It dries you out.
Okay. So you get a little more ripped up?
Yeah.
I need to start drinking more vodka.
Right.
I need to get my abs
But
in.
you're not supposed to drink any water. You cut your water and then you take the vodka. But
Panda, go give me some vodka, man. I'm going to get some abs.
let's see how you look after. Luckily, I never had to do that, but I thought that's what I had to do because I saw everybody else on YouTube doing that, and it was so bad. And also, you see on YouTube, like, people eating, like, donuts or Sour Patch Kids or something to, like, pump up.
Right.
And my first show, they had a table of desserts back there. So before I even step on stage, I'm, like, downing donuts, like 4 of them.
Oh, yeah?
Thinking that's
Sugar
what
high,
I had.
like the...
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know why. I thought...
You thought it was going to work.
I thought that's what I...
So that was the wrong thing to do.
Yeah.
Why'd they have the donuts there for you? Temptation.
Yes, for some people who are already done competing.
Maybe it was the people that won in the past and they knew that's how they had to win. That these rookies, that they put the donuts out there hoping rookies like you would eat them.
It's like
strategy.
sabotage.
I guess I probably would do that.
Sabotage.
Yeah.
But I ended up winning my class that first show. Like they.
Oh, you won anyways.
They split it up into
regardless
height.
of doing all the bad stuff, you still get bad.
Yep.
Could you imagine if you didn't do the bad stuff?
I know. I might have won the whole show.
Yeah.
But instead, I had a ton of donuts. But they split it up into height classes. So for women, like class A is 5'1" and below. So of course that's me. So I won the class A bikini. And then all the winners from each height class compete together in the overall to see who wins the whole show. And I didn't. But
now let me ask you. You talk about height. Is height determination? Do you think? I mean, how tall are you?
I'm 5'1.5".
5'1.5". Did you wear heels when you're on stage? So is that a big like distraction? You think being shorter than somebody else that's taller? Do you think that benefits you or hurts you?
No, because we only compete against people in our height class.
Okay.
So only the short.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. But then when you reach the pro level, there is no height class. So I can compete against a girl who's 6 foot. So it could, I don't know. I think the shorter girls, it works because the muscles are shorter and bubblier. So you look more muscular. But then the taller girls, they are nice and lean and long muscles. So it just depends on what the judges are looking for.
That's true. That makes sense. How many judges judge you?
It depends. Like national levels, they have like 13 judges sitting right there. Local level is like 5 or 6.
Gotcha.
So.
Now you said you bikini. What's your favorite color bikini? What do you use? Everybody's got a favorite color. What's your favorite color?
I've worn a lot of colors, but my favorite is the red one because that's the one I've had most success in.
Okay,
So,
the one that works.
Yeah.
Is that
Yeah, so I wore that one.
I wasn't sure if it was gonna be orange. You did a lot of Hooter stuff, so I wasn't sure.
No, orange and yellow are like off limits in bodybuilding because you get such a dark tan, and you don't want the orange and yellow to kind of blend in because the tan is so
Makes
dark.
sense. Yeah, that makes sense. I didn't think about that, but yeah, it makes sense. So you did a couple shows, you win, you do well, and all of a sudden you say, you know what, I think I'm gonna turn pro.
Well, actually, after that first show where my coach ghosted me, I was like, I hate this. I never want to do this again.
Really?
I hated bodybuilding, yeah, because I was so miserable. And so
What made you miserable?
the diet, the cardio.
Me too. I can't stand a diet.
It was, I was like, ew. And I got there way too early on show day.
Food's good, right? Food's
Yeah,
good.
I'm a foodie.
Yeah, I'm
I was
Italian. You got to eat good
Yeah.
food. Mama makes good food.
I was like, why am I doing this to myself? But then again, 6 months later or so, I switched coaches and do it all over again.
Yeah.
And so I was with
So what made you do that? I mean, here you are miserable. You're like, don't really want to do it. What got you to do it again?
my friends were still competing, and I was like, how are they doing this for so long? Like, why do they like it so much? And so I went to a couple shows to watch it, and I was like, see, they all look so happy. Like, something must have been wrong. Maybe I just had a bad coach.
Or you're like, I can do better than them on stage. You saw on stage and you're like, I can do better.
I was just like, I want to try it again. Like, I need something. So I was like, let me just try a different coach and see if I have more fun with it and if I'm not so miserable. So I tried a different coach, and I was with him for a few years, but I still wasn't doing good. I never got first. I always got like second or third or 9th or 16th. I just
Right.
wasn't doing good.
Yeah.
So, and my body was getting very unhealthy. Like, the things that I was going through was just very unhealthy. So I had to quit to get back to normal. My thyroid was messed up. My metabolism was messed up. It was 2019. I tried to prepare for a show again, and I gained 35 pounds, and I couldn't get it off.
You gained 35 pounds for a show.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a lot.
So I was up to almost
You were packing on
140.
beef.
Yeah, 140
What was
for
in your
being
diet
50.
then?
The
You,
same
like,
stuff.
really?
Protein, veggies. Like I was
So
dieting hard.
What's the average day like? When you wake up, walk me through this diet plan. Put on 30. There's a lot of kids out there, a lot of views out there. They're trying to put on weight, don't know how, the right way, type of thing. I mean, putting on 35 pounds is no joke. Like we're not talking about eating a bunch of junk food and stuff like that. Like, what was your average day like?
Well, in the off season is when you're supposed to put on some weight so you can grow muscle, and you're just kind of a normal person. But when you first get into bodybuilding, the first off season's really hard because you just binge eat because you've been dieting
for so long.
Yeah, and you don't know how to control yourself. So that's exactly what happened, and I didn't realize I was doing it. I thought I was being careful, but I wasn't. I was eating like a Ben and Jerry's pint once a weekend.
What's wrong with that?
Try
I love
it.
me some ice cream. Women love some ice cream.
Oh, it was great. I loved it. And then I was like, I wonder why I gained so much weight and why my body's ruined. So I was just not realizing how bad I was, and I was eating so much. And then my thyroid was messed up. That's why I was gaining weight and I couldn't get it off. So my thyroid was messed up and my metabolism, my hormones were all messed up.
What was the heaviest you were?
Close to 140.
Okay.
And I was dieting and not losing a pound. So I
Yeah.
dieted for like 5 weeks and didn't lose a pound.
Yeah.
So I had to pull out of that prep and not compete.
That's hard right there.
Yeah.
When you're dieting and you don't see the scale change, you talk about something that's demoralizing.
Yeah.
I mean, you sit there and you work your butt off so hard. You think you're eating right, you're working out, and all of a sudden you step on that scale 3, 4, 5 days later, and it hasn't moved.
No.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
That's a mental F. You know what I'm saying?
was.
It messes with you up here.
It was, and I could tell something was off because I was like, my hair was thinning and I was losing like clumps of hair.
Oh wow.
And I was feeling just really, really tired, and my face was getting really swollen. Like I was just holding weight weird, so I knew something was off. So that's when I got blood work and saw it was
medical.
Yeah. So I had to take like a full year off to get healthy.
Good.
And then I did one more show where I got way too skinny. My coach at that point just really cared about getting me skinny and not like building muscle. And so I kept showing up way too skinny and not winning. So after that, I quit. Like I was done with bodybuilding.
Gotcha.
So I completely quit and got just a normal life. And then that's when I moved out to Vegas.
Wow. That ain't normal, moving out to Vegas.
Right. Well, I was just in a bad place in my life, and I was like, I'm just not happy. Like,
So did you work at Hooters here in Vegas? Or
No.
Where'd you move out to?
nope.
Gotcha.
I was in Alabama at the time, and I was living there for like 2 years, and I just was not happy. And I've always thought about moving out here to Vegas because that's where my brother is, and he keeps bribing me and convincing me to do it. And I was like,
What's your brother do?
he bartends
Oh,
at
he's
the clubs.
bartending. Oh,
yeah,
okay, cool.
here.
Where
And
at?
At EBC.
Okay.
And he keeps telling me how much money he makes.
Yeah.
I was like, I can't go through life without trying it. Like, I have to try it.
Mm.
And so it was January of 22. Yes. That I flew out here 3 different times in 3 weeks.
Oh yeah.
So one time a week for auditions, because you have to audition for the clubs
Gotcha.
in a bikini and everything. And they ask you questions and all this stuff. And
So wait, so you had to audition with a bikini on. Is that a little, nerve-wracking too? I mean, you were used to it, but
Yeah.
I mean, I know if I wanted to be a bartender and they told me I had to wear a bikini or a man bikini, I don't know how comfortable I'd feel about it.
Yeah, for some reason, I knew I had to audition in a bikini, but it didn't cross my mind that I'd be working in a bikini. For some reason, I told my brother, I was like, I don't work in a bikini, right? He was
So
like,
what club
yes,
is it?
you
Like
do.
it must be like at a pool or something, doing
Yeah.
pool bartending. Okay.
At the day clubs.
Okay, there you go.
I didn't
That
know
makes
we
sense.
worked in a bikini.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Oh, it's Vegas, man. Of
Yeah,
course,
so
the
that was a
pools are
surprise.
hot.
That was a surprise to me.
Yeah.
Which I'm just, living like a normal person now. I'm not competing anymore, so I'm just now getting comfortable in my body. And I'm like, great. Now I have to like live in a bikini again.
Right.
So fly out 3 different times, 3 weeks. I had no business getting a job here because
So you had 3 auditions.
I went to every single audition they
Wow.
offered, and I got 3 callbacks.
Okay.
Well, I got all callbacks except for 1. So I had to come back for second interviews, and I had to come back for a third interview. So I was spending all this money flying back and forth.
Again, investing in yourself, though. I like it.
Taking
okay.
a chance. I was like, you'll never know.
That's right.
I was like, I probably won't move. Let's just go audition and see what happens. Like, whatever. And I had no business getting the job here because it's Vegas, and I wasn't like a super experienced bartender. I've only bartended at restaurants.
Gotcha.
Not like
you never
a
went to
club.
school or nothing to learn?
No.
So no courses, classes you never took?
Nope, nothing like that. And I've
Did you
never.
study on YouTube?
No. Just at the restaurants.
That's
but
it.
yeah, just at the restaurants.
Did you drink a lot growing up? Did you make your own drinks at least?
In my 20s, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
In my early, Hawks years, I drank a lot, yes. But I had no idea what I was doing, and I knew the clubs out here in Vegas were way different because it's like fast-paced, and it's like high volume, and I've never done anything like that. And they care about Vegas experience here.
Right.
And so I had no business getting the job here. But I got offered a job, and I was so surprised.
What was that like? Now you're boom. So tell me how the money worked out there. I want to know, were you making more than $11 an hour?
In Vegas?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah?
Oh,
How's
yes.
the money there in Vegas? I mean, I've always wondered, like being a bartender, because the drinks are so darn expensive.
They
I
are.
ain't gonna lie. So let's just be honest. You grab a beer, it's $20.
Oh, yeah.
So you're sitting there going, and you get a tip on top. But I guess it would help you if people are tipping as they should. But if they're losing their ass,
Even when they're not
much.
tipping as they should, it's still good money.
Yeah.
Because the place gets so packed. Like, so many people are in there. And we get percentages of the cocktail girls' sales, which that's where the money is. They make so much money. But there's Saturdays we would leave with over $1,000.
Nice.
So
All you had to do was wear a bikini.
yeah,
I'm gonna get in shape. I'm gonna wear
and
a
make
bikini.
drinks. You know,
Make $1,000 a day. I ain't nothing wrong with that.
it's so worth it. It really is. I mean, it's a long day and it's hard on the body, but it's so worth it.
Yeah,
It really is.
that's cool. How long? So is that where you're current? So you worked what? What was the name of the club?
I was at Marquee.
Marquee. Cool.
So I was there
Did you
for.
enjoy working there?
I did.
What was it? What was that like? Like big transition, obviously from Hooters
It-
into. I mean, you're serving food and everything else, right? At Hooters, doing bikinis, and now all of a sudden, yeah, you're by the pools.
Yeah.
You got in the sun a lot. It's gotta be
I was
hot too.
a real life bartender at that point. I was like, wow, I've made it. Like, this is
Oh,
the Olympics
okay.
of bartending.
Okay.
So-
you do any tricks? Can you like
Oh,
do the
no.
old cocktail stuff with the
No.
with the bottles up? No, you don't do that.
When I first moved here is when I learned to hold 2 bottles with one hand. I was like thinking I was the coolest person ever. I was like, wow, I did it. But but it was worth it. I had no business getting a job here, but I did. So I packed up my apartment in Alabama and drove here. And drove my entire apartment across the U.S. Took 4 days.
Yeah.
But as soon as I got to Vegas, I started working like the next 2 days after
Right.
at Marquee. So it's a lot of fun. It's like you're working in a party. It's a party
Right.
every single day.
Party every day.
Yep.
Sometimes that'll take a wear on your body too, though.
Yeah,
Right.
it does. It really does.
Yeah.
Like your body just hurts.
What's the craziest thing that ever happened to you as a bartender? I mean, I know there's a bunch of drunk people out there, man. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Vegas.
You see
What's
some
it-
crazy
What
things.
was the thing you've seen? The craziest thing you've seen?
I mean, I've seen crazy fights in the bar.
Yeah.
People just decking each other right in the face and, blood everywhere. And there's girls who get super drunk or, they take drugs or something, and they're literally getting up on top of our bar and, like, rolling around, and they're, like, sweaty and gross. And you're like, get off the bar. That's disgusting. But I don't know. It was crazy there. It was fun. Like, anytime somebody was about to leave, we would pick them up and throw them in the pool. That's Franklin's job.
Oh yeah.
He
that
would
was your
pick them.
boyfriend?
Yeah.
So that's your main boyfriend.
Yep. That's how I
Oh,
met.
okay.
Not my
So he
fiance.
was a
but
bouncer,
no, he was a bartender.
bartender as well.
He was
Gotcha.
just the big guy who would pick people up and throw them in the pool.
Well,
that was
he's
his
a
job.
professional bodybuilder as well, right?
He is. He's
So is
a-
that how you got back into it?
It
then?
is. So
I gotta
right
hear
when
about this journey.
right when I moved, I started at Marquee, and I just got out of a bad relationship, and he was still in one, but we became really good friends. And then once he ended his relationship, we just started talking, and it was just like immediate.
Yeah.
Like every single day together.
Immediate connection.
Oh yeah, it was like meant to be. I was like, oh my gosh, I don't believe in like coincidences or anything.
True
So
that.
everything happens for a reason,
Yep.
and that was my reason to get the job out here and for us to meet. And so he was still bodybuilding at the time, and we started spending every second together. So I was watching him, and I was like, dang, I kind of miss this. Like maybe I should try. And I've always dreamed
a
of
better coach.
That's exactly what I was just about to say. I've had this dream of working with this coach ever since I started bodybuilding because he was the best of the best. Coached all the Olympians. And so I reached out to him, and he's actually my coach now.
Yeah. What's his name?
Adam Bonilla.
Oh yeah.
Team
Give a
Elite.
big shout out.
Yeah, he's amazing.
Yeah.
So it was always a dream. And so I watched him compete and watched him turn pro in July. I was like, oh, I want to turn pro. I've always wanted to turn pro. So he's the one that kind of convinced me and encouraged me to get back into it. And then I turned pro in December, right after him.
Wow, congratulations.
Yeah, so we were prepping at the club together.
Now, what does it take to become a pro? Like, what do you have to do? Like, you obviously don't take a test. You got to win a couple contests or something.
Some people turn pro immediately. Some people, like me, it took 5 years. So you compete at the NPC level, which is the amateur level, and you compete at just local shows so you can get qualified to compete at a national show. So you have to win first or second in that height class to go to the national level. And then you go to the national level, and it's 20, 30, 40 people competing all in one class that you have to go up against, and they all look like pros already because they're trying to become pro.
Right.
And you have to win either first or second there. Yeah. So I did 4 other national shows before turning pro.
Yeah.
And I was getting 9th place, 11th place, 16th place, like just terrible. And then this is my first show back in 2 years, and I get first place and turn pro.
It.
Yeah.
Wow,
and turn pro.
That's awesome. That's very cool.
It was awesome.
That must.
It was so surreal.
Well, you said you were always coming up short. So
yeah.
This one here, you finally won, and that must have been very rewarding for you.
And it was crazy. The local.
Who do you owe it to?
Oh, Franklin, 100%. Yeah.
You do?
Yes.
No, you gotta look in the mirror. You gotta owe it to yourself.
I would have quit so many times.
Yeah,
during the process if it wasn't
sound
for
like
him.
it. Not along the journey you just took me through.
It was so hard this time.
You're very determined, and honestly, being a bodybuilder at all, and he must be super determined too. I mean, you have to be disciplined.
Oh yeah.
Discipline is key to all that stuff because temptation is there every single day, and you have to put a certain thing in your body at a certain time. You gotta constantly work. I mean, it's a grind.
Yeah.
It's a very, very big thing. So the fact that you guys are doing it together must have made it a little bit easier for you.
It was. He did make it easier, but we were just doing so much during the time, which made it just easier to quit. Like we moved into a house 3 weeks before he turned pro, so we were moving and working at the club all weekend long, working doubles and having to get in all your food and doing 2 hours of cardio a day. Like I just wanted to quit, but he would leave me like notes on the treadmill or help me prep my food, and
that's great.
Really, really encourage me. So, and I mean, he would go with me to every single show, but the show before I turned pro, I had to requalify because it's been 2 years, and it was a local show in Vegas, and I ended up winning that entire show, the overall, and they actually paid my entry into the national show for winning. So
being a pro now, you get paid, right? I mean, there's awards that they have for that, and then also you do sponsorships, right?
Yep. So after we both turned pro, we actually got sponsored by the same supplement company, Global Formulas, because we've been so obsessed.
Global Formulas.
We were posting.
Big shout out to Global Formulas.
Yes, you can use my code Brittany Z10.
Say it again. We'll pop it up there.
Brittany Z10. Don't use Franklin 10 though. Or is it Brittany 10? Is it Brittany 10? Use my code Brittany 10 to get 10% off. But
there you go.
We were so obsessed with them. We were posting videos like every single day onto Instagram, shouting them out, and we were like, sponsor us. Sponsor us. And they got so annoyed that they finally sponsored us. So
that's great.
We're athletes with them.
Hey, sponsor your boy WamBam too, man. WamBam.
Or if you want, you could just use code Brittany10. So we finally got sponsored by them. They do pay us to compete at a pro show. So every time you compete at a pro show, you get paid. And then if you get top 5 at a pro show, which is extremely hard to do, the show gives you money, and then also your sponsors will give you money. Right. So,
what's the most money you ever won or got?
I've only done one pro show, and it wasn't my best because my body was kind of like done with it and giving up, so it needed a break really bad because I was working at the club so much at the same time. So I didn't win anything, but my sponsors paid me to compete. So it's like $100 to compete.
Oh, gotcha.
But we also get commission on products we sell and,
different things. Gotcha.
Yeah, so the better you get at the pro level, the more money there is.
What's the most they pay, though, that you've seen pay out?
The Olympia, which is like the Super Bowl of bodybuilding, it just happened. It depends on the division, but first place for, I think, men's classic physique was $50,000.
Gotcha.
And they have
it's
sponsors.
Not a bad day's worth of work.
No, but they have sponsors that pay them even more.
Right.
So they're set.
Gotcha.
But I mean, they deserve it.
Well, you get to do what you love too, though.
Yeah, they're the best of the best.
So tell me, preparing for a show, what's that like? Like, how many weeks prior to doing a show do you really gotta, I know like with a fight, sometimes there's a 12-week camp, 10-week, whatever it may be. What is the mindset for bodybuilding?
It really depends on how far off you are in your off season, like in your bulking season. So, but normally my preps are 4 to 6 months long.
Gotcha.
Of just straight dieting and cardio and, no cheat meals, no going off plan. It's just strict the entire time for about 6 months.
So if somebody told you, hey, I give you $100,000, there's going to be a 12-week show 12 weeks from now. Could you get it down? Could you make it happen?
Yeah.
Oh, you're like, oh yeah.
Yeah, even for no money. Even for no money, I'll do it. Once I commit, I'm like committed.
Gotcha.
I don't cheat. So I've missed out on Thanksgivings, my own birthday, Christmas. Like I miss out on all that stuff. I still show up because I've learned that you can't just like shut out your life for a bodybuilding show. So you just have to. What's
your feelings about, when you talk bodybuilding, there's so many different ways, obviously, people do things now. You hear everything out there. Cardio's no good, cardio's good. Weights are no good, weights are good. Like, what was your, your routine? Like, what do you incorporate and what don't you incorporate, when it comes to, building yourself, getting ready for a show?
Bodybuilding is very straightforward. You need cardio and you need weights. Everybody. Doesn't matter if you're a girl or a guy, you need cardio and you need weights. So how much cardio is different. So I'm a girl and I'm already shorter, so it takes me a while to get weight off. Like my body's just stubborn. So towards the end, I do have to do 2 hours of cardio where, Franklin was doing maybe an hour, or he was doing an hour towards the end, but most of the time he only needs 30, 40 minutes to lose weight. But we lift heavy weights the entire time.
So you go heavy?
Oh, yeah.
Don't worry about the joints, all that?
Oh, no, the joints hurt.
Yeah.
The joints are bad.
Trust me, I just had rotator cuff surgery.
Oh, gosh.
I used to lift hard, heavy. Yeah, as you get older, it wears on the body.
Oh, yeah. And I'm still suffering from my back injury back when I was a gymnast.
Yeah.
So I still have back pain every single day. My knees are messed up. His knees are messed up. But, you just push through.
It's worth it now,
it is.
right? You're young.
It's
really
worth
it now.
I know. That's why I'm like, I need to take advantage. And that was my goal, was to turn pro before I turned 30. And I turned 30 in December, so.
Yeah. What was the hardest thing you had to do by turning pro? Like what was the hardest thing? I mean, I know discipline is important, but you clearly have done that your whole life, so that wasn't really that hard for you.
Yeah.
Like, what would you say was the hardest thing for you?
Yeah, the discipline gets easier, especially for me. I'm like motivated by.
It's a lifestyle.
Yeah,
it just really is.
And I'm motivated by results. So when I start to see like the muscle showing and stuff, that's when I'm motivated. And also having my fiance on the same exact plan and like doing the same thing, it's like normal. I'm not worried about like, oh, I'm ruining your life because I can't do this or this, but we're like doing the same thing.
Right.
But the hardest was preparing for my pro show, which was actually in June. I was prepping really hard, but I was also working at the club, and I was getting up at 4 a.m. to go do 2 hours of cardio and my lift before I went to work at 11 a.m. And then we'd stay to like 6 or 7 p.m. and then have to get up at 4 a.m. again the next day to do it.
Right.
And it was EDC week, which is huge here in Vegas. So it's 7 days long of working all day long.
Mm.
So I was getting up at 4 a.m. every single day that week, and my body was just done. Like, stopped losing weight. Like, I didn't look right. I wasn't ready for the stage.
How important is sleep? Sleep is important, right?
So important.
Yeah.
Especially for me. My body reacts really well to rest and sleep and low stress, and I was high stress and zero sleep. So my body was, like, holding on to water and fat.
What do you recommend to somebody that struggles with sleeping? Like me, I mean, 4 hours a night. If I get 4 hours, that's a good night. That's I know it sucks. I mean, trust me, but, I don't, the mind gets racing.
Yeah.
You get busy.
Trust me, I know. My mind does not shut off. But actually, Global Formulas has a sleep supplement that we take, and it actually knocks me out.
So you use it?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah, I use it, especially in prep, because it helps with our growth hormone as well. Mm-hmm. So it helps, like, repair our muscles while we sleep as well. So I take that a lot during prep, just to help sleep and recover from all the craziness.
Gotcha. Mm-hmm. Where do you work out in Vegas? There's so many gyms here, so many clubs.
There is.
And I got to be honest with you, like even here, I go to the gym here, and these guys are with their shirts off and everything else. And there's no rules in Vegas. There's no rules in Vegas, So I don't know if that motivates you, when you see that, or if it discourages you, type of thing. I know it should always motivate you, because regardless how they look, they're there doing something about it, you know, type of thing. So that's important. That's how I always look at it, regardless of where I go. But you have the opportunity to work out anywhere. Where's your favorite place to work out? Where do you train?
Yeah, that actually surprised me when I first came to Vegas, that everybody worked out in sports bras and shorts only, and like little clothing. I was not used to that. I was like, oh, that's a thing.
Right.
So that caught me off guard. But we try to make it a thing where we visit all the gyms here in Vegas. So we've been to a lot. So right now we go to EOS every day just because it's in our backyard, and it's 24 hours, so you can't beat that. But we've gone to Dragon's Lair, we've gone to Elevation, LVAC, Iron City. But I don't know, there's a lot of good ones. I do love Elevation. That one's a newer one. It's really nice. All the Olympians, all the famous, bodybuilders work out there. We went to Gold's Gym in Venice, like the Mecca. That was really cool. Yeah. Because it's like an outside gym, which is really cool.
Hard to work out outside, though. Sweating with the weights and everything.
It's
hard. A different workout.
That was hard, but I don't know. I really love Elevation and Dragon's Lair just because that's like a bodybuilding gym only.
So I'm going to ask you, because you're out here in Vegas, UFC is a big deal. WWE is a big deal. Have you ever thought about going into that realm? You're a beautiful girl. You're athletic. You're very determined. You're strong. You know what I mean? Have you ever thought about, one, I could be a ring girl. Two, I could actually fight. Three, WWE, throw some people around. I mean, what are your thoughts on those things?
I've always wanted to do a ring girl thing. I thought that would be fun. And I've always wanted to be in a fight just to see if I could do it.
To be in a fight?
Yeah, I've always just kind of wanted to punch somebody to see like how it would feel, but I haven't. But no, I've never thought about it. WWE is not anything I'd be interested in. Like
No.
it's funny to me.
Yeah.
'Cause I don't know. I just don't think I'd be into it. So. Yeah. And I'm prone to injury, so I'm scared of that.
Gotcha,
I don't want to be injured or hurt by somebody else. So,
gotcha.
Yeah.
What would your future look like for Brittany? Obviously, you say you got a fiance. You're looking forward to getting married, I'm guessing.
Yes.
Family, children in the works. What are your plans?
Yeah, we're planning our wedding right now. So, he only proposed a little over a month ago, and we're already like done wedding planning.
Oh, yeah?
So
you're all in. You're like, I guess you said yes.
Yes, yes. So we'll get married in October, but we'll both, we want to do the same pro show next year. So, because he hasn't done his pro debut yet, and I have. So we want to plan to do that and then get married.
You gotta let us know about that. We want to be out there. We want to support that.
Yeah, of course. It might be in Vegas. It might not be. We might travel, but
all right.
We definitely want to do a pro show together. And then I plan on going to school next year. It's time for me to get like a career and like find something. So.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
What do you think you might do?
I want to go for aesthetics. Do laser hair removal, facial, skincare, all that stuff.
Gotcha.
So
a lot of business out there for that.
Yes, I love the beauty industry, so that's what I want to do.
You fit in. You fit in. They'll probably want to put you on their pamphlet. You'll be their photo, right? Of
I better get a royalty this time.
That's right. That's right. That's what I said. You need a new manager.
No more using my
Make sure
stuff
you get
for free.
paid for that stuff. That's right. Exactly. You worked way too hard on your body and where you are today to not get a little bit of something for somebody else's benefit.
Right, but I'll take the experiences instead.
100%.
That's more important.
Well, tell the viewers real quick, where they can find you, how they can follow you and support you and stuff.
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram. My Instagram is at @beepop_Z. That's where we post everything. That's really what I'm on. I don't use anything else really, but that's where we post everything.
Well, there you have it, folks. Another WamBam Wednesday episode, and it was epic, just like I promised you. Brittany Zimmerman just said it all. Dedication, hard work, determination. Don't quit. Don't quit at your goals. You see, she didn't quit when she became a Hawks cheerleader because she missed it the first year, but she continued to surround herself with the knowledge and the education that she needed to give her what she wanted, and that was to be a Hawks cheerleader. From there, being a professional bodybuilder, again, you saw her journey. She wasn't a professional bodybuilder right away. She didn't even win a competition until finally she continued to find the right coach, the right mix, and then she beginning to win them all. And you know what? Now she's a professional bodybuilder. So, as WamBam always says, remember, if your life was a movie, would it be worth watching? And if the answer is no, then stop being ordinary and start being extraordinary. And remember, as always, stay positive, baby, and keep testing negative. Till next Wednesday, this is your boy WamBam, and I'm out of here. This podcast was brought to you by Cost Plus Processing, the leader in merchant processing. Call 1-855-391-9190 and find out why they are the future in merchant processing.